And Ruth, when I present, will you spotlight me so the
Yes, of
recording? Okay,
course.
perfect.
Okay.
Thanks. Great.
Okay, so let's have our official welcome now. I think the house is pretty full. And this is our Heartwise community gathering. So this is a brand new community that Jim Sharon and Ruth Sharon have created. We put this together out of our years and years of working together and coaching so many clients and seeing patterns, seeing the way people are caught and entangled in old patterns, codependency and triggers and, old stuff. And so how can we move and step over the threshold into new domains, into new ways of being where we identify our triggers and we manage them and we talk to each other from a whole different place of respect and companionship and support and trust. So we call that Heartwise, and we put this book together. And this is a compilation of 16 chapters of different topics that have to do with this transition, how we can move. It's kind of a how-to textbook toolbox of how we can move from our old patterns into new patterns. So it's a breakthrough. It's a groundbreaking work, and we're really proud of it. And one of the things that I love about this graphic is that it shows that each one of us is different and separate from the other person. The old myth of I'm half and you're half and we'll put together and be a whole is not, it doesn't hold up anymore. It's not valid, but we're each individuals. And then we create this lovely space where we can be together and share our tender little hearts, hand-stitched hearts, and hopefully plant some seeds for the future and have deep, deep roots. So this graphic is very symbolic for us, and we hope you enjoy the notion of being your own separate person and yet creating that heartwise space to relate to and help each other heal and help each other develop on the path. So I just wanted to say that the book is dedicated. We dedicate this book to everyone who's devoted to growing in the power and beauty of love with a capital L.
What an awesome dedication.
Yes. So all of us that want more love in the world, we've gathered, and we call this a wisdom pool. We're kind of gathered around as cohorts, not as experts and students, but as all people that know something. We're all welcome. Everybody has something to bring to this party. So tonight it's Celeste that's going to bring on the show, and I'll let Jim introduce her some so we can get started.
Yeah. Couple of remarks very briefly just before I bring Celeste on. And that is, so what couple really couldn't use some good tips, right, regarding ways of arguing constructively, repairing breakdowns in the relationship? We all could. And even us supposed experts who
50 years of marriage.
Yeah, we're adept in conflict resolution and communication in general. And yet we got to admit, sometimes, we have to declare a little problem on aisle 9, clean up on aisle 9, huh? So sometimes we have to do that as well. So we're eager to sometimes, right? You think it's every day? So we're really eager to hear what Celeste has to say tonight as she addresses the subject of relationship repair. And also at some point to hear from you guys, like Ruth said, about the wisdom pool. We like to do that kind of sharing. So I am truly delighted to introduce Celeste Labadie. And she has written a chapter. She's one of those 16 experts that Ruth referred to in our book. And that chapter is called Creating Your Couple Bubble. And you know what, Celeste? I actually consider you a very bubbly person in a warm and engaging and genuine way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for those of you who aren't familiar with her and her work, Celeste Labadie is a licensed, whoops, we lost the picture here. What'd you do? There we go. Celeste is a licensed marriage and family therapist, as well as a master hypnotherapist. She is certified and received several specialized certifications, including in couples therapy. And her topic tonight is the relationship, the relationship repair and relationship repair do-over toolbox. How's that?
The
Did I
mouthful.
get it all in there? It's a mouthful.
You did.
Let me try that again. The relationship repair toolbox, relationship repaired toolbox. No, relationship repair do-over toolbox. That's a tongue twister.
You did a do-over.
Right.
Well, welcome. Thank
And
you.
I'm sure everyone's going to be really glad to
Mm.
join us tonight because you're going to get a lot of very practical suggestions. So Celeste, why don't you join us at this point?
Okay,
Go on in.
wonderful. So, yeah, I want this to be interactive. I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to present. We're going to just kind of do our best to take in the information in a way that is soft and playful because that's the way our brain actually learns. It doesn't learn through force. And you might remember if anyone's ever gone snorkeling before, the first time you went snorkeling in the ocean, like someone like spit in their mask and you went, what? Like, what's it? Now they're like doing that thing, right? And you're like, what? This is part of snorkeling? And that was a new thing. And then you got in the water and the ocean sort of takes you back and forth. And you had to sort of figure that out too. And so this is no different than learning anything that's new. You just want to be soft and playful, and this do-over toolkit is really designed for you to make it your own. Meaning, in a minute or two, I'm going to share a screen where we're going to see the options that I've created. But I fully give you permission because you are all, unique human beings to make it your own. So you're going to see what I have to present, and you're going to try it out, and you're just going to make it your own because you're all unique brains. Okay. So I'd like you to just raise your hand, meaning there's reactions at the bottom. You can raise your hand, you can do a thumbs up, you can do a heart, just whatever you want there on the reaction side. Do you see what I'm saying? At the bottom of your screen, it says reactions. I'll do mine. There's my reaction. So this is a way for me to know you're with me. I might occasionally say, does that make sense? Do you like that one? Right? And you can do a thumbs up or anything like that. Okay? Great. All right. So if you would do the spotlight video now, Ruth.
I have you pinned to the center as far as I can tell. Does everybody
Okay.
see her in the center?
There, I've done it. All right. So this way for the recording, it'll be mostly my face and not everybody else's. So here's the story. And I'd like you to see this with me. So once upon a time, my husband and I, may I mute you, the two of you for now? Thank you. So once upon a time, my husband and I were in the car. He was driving. I was in the passenger seat. And I had this favorite lotion of mine, and I decided to lotion up my hands before we got to this party. And I decided, well, my husband should have lotion on his hands. He needs lotion. And so I put a little dollop on my hand, and I said, would you like some lotion? And he said, sure. And the lotion went all over me. So Ruth and Jim talked about triggers, and that was a trigger. Can you imagine what that was like for me to have that happen instantly? And I'm dressed for a party and I have oil, lotion across my shirt. So I immediately said, ah, or something like that. May have had an expletive as well. And my husband immediately bristled and said, it's not my fault. and I took a deep breath. And this is where the do-over came up for the first time in our relationship. And I knew that I did not want to head into that party. I did not want to head into that party mad. I wanted to be connected. I didn't want to be pissed off. I didn't want to be crying. I wanted to be connected to my partner. So I took a deep breath and I said, let's do a do-over. And I put my hand out with no lotion on it. And I said, would you like some lotion? And he said, Sure. And he slowly took his hand and acted as if he took the lotion without the effect. And so that's where the do-over came from, because what it did, and this is why I'm presenting it, because so many people want to know how to stop the reaction before it gets really big and you get into territory where you hurt each other's feelings. And that happens really fast. So the do-over came from that, and I decided it's really about, for me, in that moment, I chose, I could be mad, and I know how. I could be mad, or I could be in a repair moment and connection with my husband and walk into that party a little softer, a little more connected. So instead of being totally out of sorts with him, I was engaging with him. So here's what I want to say is that all of you, or any of you who are in relationship, you may have noticed that triggers happen really fast. And the caveat that I would ask all of you is that one of the worst things you could say or mention to your partner who may be in the reaction mode before you is, why are you upset? Why is a question. Is anyone laughing because you know what I'm talking about? You could do the reaction right now. Yes. Why is one of the worst things you could ask, because when we're triggered, that just doesn't make any sense to the other person, right? And it's just going to fuel the fire. So that's another metaphor that I'd like to give to you, is that, the firefighter goes into the burning house, but doesn't stand there in the burning kitchen going, now, why did they leave that stove on like that? Firefighter goes in, gets the people, and gets them out of there. And that's what this do-over is all about. You want to get in and you want to get out, okay? So before I present the list, and we're going to have fun with the possibilities of how this might work for you, what I'd like to do is have you just consider for a moment that there's a reason why you're together. So let's go with our intention first. So are you in this relationship because you want to grow yourself? Are you in this relationship because you want to feel loved? Are you in this relationship because you want to do better than your parents did? Are you in this relationship because you want to feel what safety feels like? Do you want to feel grounding? Right? I have a whole list of fun words here that are all about benefits. Do you want to feel free? Do you want to feel like you can be who you really are, authentic? Yes. Do you want to feel like your life has some meaning because you're with this person? Do you feel like this relationship allows you to be feeling purposeful in life? Yes. Do you want to have someone that protects you? I do. Yes. Do you want to feel bold because someone's got your back? Yes. Do you want to feel content? Do you want to feel at peace? Do you want to feel creative? And that last one's really important, especially with do-overs. This is about creativity and you trying something new. And, as we're children, we learn to tie our shoes. This is before Velcro. And when we learn to tie our shoes, does anyone remember how hard that was? I do. My little fingers, my little kid fingers were what is this? Kind of like the first time you learn how to put that pencil in your hand. It feels really awkward, right? So tying your shoes as a kid, you had to do it again and again. But what didn't help is to have a parent go, "What? You're not getting it immediately?" So so be easy with yourself, be easy with each other as you try these do-overs today and coming up as you live your life. And here's why. Because you're not going to get it right. You just aren't. We don't need to get it right. You just need to try. Trying speaks volumes to your partner. Oh, right. They're doing that thing so that we don't escalate. We don't burn ourselves down in this house, right? We get in and we get out of the fire. We don't add fuel, okay? So permission really is needed. So if you're sitting next to your partner, just turn to them briefly and say, "I give you permission to try the do-over with me." Good. And secondarily, you can get it wrong. And you can try again. And lastly, I'm willing to join you in that. Beautiful. Nicely done, you two. All right, so great. And here's the thing that I've noticed in my own relationship, that I tend to be the one who tries the do-over more than my husband. But here's the thing. He meets me. He is willing to say yes. He is willing. So it doesn't matter who begins it. And I say that because we have a brain that likes to do tit for tat, black and white thinking, right? So try to not do that. I do that 80% of the time and you don't do it. Don't do it. I know everyone's smiling because you know what I'm talking about. And I'm guilty of that too. So let that go and just say one of us is going to do this and the other one is willing to say yes and play along. Okay? Because in that car scenario, my husband played along. He didn't say, "No, I don't want to do the do-over." He said, "Okay, here's the lotion," right? And we were already dampening the fire because of that. Okay, so let me just look at my notes and see if there's anything else I want to say about before we look at this. So permission to amend any of the things you're about to see on the sheet of paper. And also I'm going to send this over tomorrow to Jim and Ruth, and they'll include this in the recording, okay? So you'll get a copy of that, or you can always email me directly at meetceleste@gmail.com. And I'll say that later too, or we can put that in the chat. Michelle, would you put that in the chat for me? My email? Thanks, dear. All right, so you're learning something new. You're going to honor your partner's preference for the do-over statements that I'm about to share. And here's what I mean. That it's very important that, again, you don't ask why. Why do you like that one more than the other one? Nope. You're just going to say, okay, that's the one you prefer. So here we are, the do-over toolbox. So our intention is to repair fast. Repair fast. Get in and get out. Okay? Remember that firefighter. You want to get in and you want to get out. Okay? So can someone mute that new person that just joined us? Thank you. All right. So there's the first one. Let's have a do-over. Let's do this over, right? Notice that the first three are very succinct. Let's have a do-over. Let me try that again. I'm going to resend that. When we're triggered, the fewer the words, the better. Because our brain goes offline. Our relational brain, prefrontal cortex, goes whoop, out the door. So let's do a do-over. Let me try that again. I'm going to resend that. Our really quick to the point statements. And I do have these others because I've used them. Number 4, I just said that thing that upsets you, didn't I? So my husband and I get into the car. I am what they call a backseat driver in the front seat, right? He's driving and I'm going, slow down, don't get so close, da 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 da. Why are you in this lane? Da 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 da. Drives him batty. And of course, I wouldn't like it either. So I've had to amend my behavior. And so when I did it one day, I said, because he immediately bristled and kind of made that sound with his exhale, and I knew, and I said, I just did that thing that upsets you, didn't I? And he took a breath and he goes, yes, you did. And it did not escalate. Win, win, win. Okay? So I like the 5th one. Ouch is a great way to start. Ouch. Kind of alerts your partner. Ooh, ouch. We just landed in doo-doo. Quick, follow me out. So I love how playful that one is. Like, that's going to whip their brain around. Did she just say doo-doo? Right? It's kind of a very kid thing to do. Ouch, we just landed in doo-doo. Follow me out. Like, follow them out. Number 6 is, I hear you. Would you continue with 50% less volume or 50% less tone? So here's why this one is really important. Because we all have brains that are wired for reactivity, wired for threat. So if you just say to your partner, you're talking too loud, and they're already triggered, it's going to send them higher up. It's going to fuel the fire. When triggered is already happening, you want to get a really precise and doable possibility. So if I say, I hear you, would you continue with no volume in your voice? Can't happen. But if I say 50% less, that gives my partner a doable, approachable, I understand what you're saying. So half the volume, half the tone, right? I want to hear you. Can you continue with half the volume? Right? So I'm not saying, shut up. Fuel. I may think it, by the way, okay? I'm human. I may think it. I call it my inside voice. I know you all have your own inside voice. And I will say again that that is a trick that you'll learn as you go through relationship. You can have your inside voice going, why are they reacting this way? Oh my God. Try not to say it. Go to one of these. Okay? Bring the fuel, bring the fire down. Number 7, hold up. I need to take a breath. I'm triggered. So notice how that one, it's about me, not you. Again, anytime I'm going to point the finger, right? What do they say? There's 3 fingers pointing back. So if I say, I'm triggered, hold up, I need to take a breath, my partner may join me on that. It's an invitation, but I'm also slowing this down. So I want to just go back up to this intention. You want to repair fast. Get in, get out. Don't ask why. Don't ask why they're upset. Okay? That will only fuel. Repair in general, the get in and the get out, is because, I don't know about you, but I know that I have noticed for myself that if we go round and round and round into the whys, into the why you're upset and why did I do that and why did he do that and da-da-da-da, and you're there too long, you're very likely to make it worse. When we are triggered, we don't have the possibility of communicating in a loving, mind to mind and not trigger to trigger static way. So you want the static to clear, which usually is about 20 minutes to a half an hour. So it might be, let's have a do-over. You say the thing again in a different tone or in a different way, and you try to maintain the cohesiveness between you. And then one of you might say, let's take a pause. Let's come back in 20 minutes. Let's go have a walk, right? Something that will allow your prefrontal cortex to come back online. Okay. So I asked Michelle if she would be willing, because she is someone who has tried the do-over. Michelle, can you testify?
Yes, I can testify to the do-over.
All right, tell us your story.
Oh man, there's so many. I don't even remember which one I told you most recently, but the most recent one that happened was in we were cleaning and like doing our cat litter is like always a point of contention because we try and switch off because it's just like the least fun job that we have. And it's just assumed like you're going to do it this day and I'm going to do it this way. So I tend to get very triggered when he asks me about it. You know, are you going to do the litter? Yes, I'm going to do the litter. Why do you always ask me? I know it's my turn to do the litter. And this happened the other day. And and so I found myself, you know, we found ourselves in that situation and he goes, Michelle, are you going to do the litter? Yes, I'm going to do the litter. And I was the one that went, okay, hold up. Can we do a do-over? And I took a breath and he said, yes. And I said, okay, ask me again a little bit nicer. And he said, Michelle, did you remember to do the litter today? And I said, no, thank you for the reminder. And I went and I did the litter and it got done. And it was just really nice because normally that would have set us off. That would have been a point of contention the rest of the night. And I would have been real resentful about it. So it has worked wonders for all of our little triggers.
Wow. So I heard that you made a request. You took a breath and you made a request. Can you send that in a kinder tone or in a different tone or something?
Yeah. I think I said, you know, can you say it a little nicer?
Yep.
And he said, yes.
Yes. Yes. So I'm celebrating with you and I saw Ruth go, yay, right? Because it is a celebration, right? So Michelle, like, how does that feel that you've learned something new and like you're doing it? Like, do you feel proud?
I feel so proud. I feel so proud that I have a tool to walk myself back when I'm right. It's nice when your partner wants to do the do-over, but when you don't give in to the trigger, it's nice to have a tool to be like, okay, I don't actually want to feel this way or act this way.
Right.
And then, and then we don't fight. It's really beautiful.
Nice. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so what I'd like to do,
Yeah.
Yay, thanks, Michelle. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'm going to share that again. I'm going to share this. So what I'd like to do is just in the next 5 minutes or so, I'm going to read these and then we'll pop in after I read them. And they're numbered for a reason, okay? Because every brain is different. So as I read them, I want you just like, you can close your eyes. I'll say them each twice. And I'd like you to just consider how would this work for you? Is it a yes for you? And or would you like the languaging a little different? This is where the creativity comes in. So if you don't actually like the statement, but you like some of it, let's switch it so it works for you, okay? So as I say these twice, your job is just to like write down, I like number one, I didn't like number two, like, or just write the ones that you liked and we'll kind of unmute people and share which ones. Or you could put it in the chat if that feels better. So again, the directions are, I'll say these twice, just listen. and see for you, is this something you could hear that would help you pause and join your partner? Hey, let's have a do-over. I'd like to do a do-over. So again, this is about if you're going to hear yourself, if you're going to hear this. Number 2, let me try that again. Let me try that again. Number 3, I'm going to resend that. I'm going to resend that. Change it up if you want. Number 4, oh, I just said that thing that upsets you, didn't I? Or, I just did that thing that upsets you, didn't I? Yeah. Number 5, ouch! I think we just landed in doo-doo. Quick, follow me out. Ouch, we just landed in doo-doo. Or whatever you want to say right there. Quick, follow me out. Number 6, I hear you. Can you continue with 50% less volume? I'm hearing you. Can you continue with 50% less of the tone? And number 7, hold up. I need to take a breath. I'm a little triggered. Hold up. I need to take a deep breath. I'm a little triggered. Okay. So what I love about looking at the couples that I see is the conversation happening. So Jim and Ruth, may I ask you to go first? Okay.
Are we unmuted?
Yep.
Yes.
You know,
So-
I don't like things that are too formulaic. I like to be kind of spontaneous, but I really do like number 1. That's something I haven't said, but I would be inclined to say it.
Okay.
And then let's see, number 6, I noticed I liked. I probably wouldn't say with 50% less. I like your point about that, but I'd probably say, could you lower the tone? In this case with Ruth, I would probably ask for less words. Like, I heard you, and you don't need to rehash it. You know, you don't need to restate it.
Yeah.
I got it. I got it. And that's something I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Do.
I do. And I like 7 as well. I think that's good for both of us, or even a brief timeout, you know, just to get recentered.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Thank
Ruth,
you.
what
I
about
was
for
going
you?
to say number 2. I have kind of this cartoon brain. So like if I say something and I know, oh man, that's not what I really meant, I'll pull it back. Let me try that again. What I really wanted to say is, you know, so I'll try to pull it back like that. That's one of my techniques that I use. Have you
And I might
noticed?
want to say, let me say that differently.
Let
You
me
know,
say that differently. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really good to catch it really quickly. That's what I love.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. The quicker, the better. And the whole reason for that is that we don't want these things, these upsets, to go into long-term memory storage. That's the whole reason for repairing fast, because when repairs sort of sit there and they get bigger and then people walk away, now your brain is going like this about the other person, and it's going to build resentments. Your brain's going to be blaming each other, right? And you're going to be in defense mode. And that, we really don't want that. It's just going to come in between two people. So we want to repair as fast as we can so that it's a blip and it doesn't go into that storage area of our brain.
And we're not escalating in the moment either,
Exactly.
which can sometimes even get dangerous.
Yeah, it can get dangerous. Exactly. Yeah. All right, great. Thanks, you two. Lauren and Joe, would it be okay if we heard from you? And oh, by the way, notice how Jim and Ruth had different ones that they liked because every brain is unique, right? So this is why it's important to know what would work for Lauren, Joe, and right, and vice versa, right? So I'm not sure I can hear you guys.
Oh, yeah. Can you
Okay,
hear?
great. Now I can.
So funny enough, I start thinking about him too and what he would say to me. Anyway, I will
Yes.
for myself, and I personally I'm going to resend that because I feel like it's like visually seeing the words come out of the mouth and like retracting it back and then getting a chance to resend. So I resonated with. I'm gonna resend that.
Great,
That
great.
didn't come out the way I wanted it to. And then also, I think for me would be just knowing myself being really frazzled if I'm feeling really triggered or upset. So I think the hold up, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm feeling triggered, just kind of calling it out. And
Yeah,
allowing myself the time and space to process my next thoughts and words.
great. Wonderful, which allows again some pause, right? You're just you're allowing yourself, and it's not gonna. I don't think that statement probably wouldn't raise up Joe because you're taking responsibility. I'm triggered. Hold up. I need a breath. Not I need a breath because you did that. Right? It's like no, like just that alone will help the pause happen. Well done. Joe, what about for you?
I like number 6.
Okay.
I hear you. Would you, I guess, tone it down a bit, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to stay, I mean, we talked about this. I try to stay calm when we
Yep.
argue or disagree.
Yeah.
And I think,
And the opposite.
yeah, and sometimes I think it would help if we both just kind of try to stay calm when we,
Yeah. It's a tricky one because if you say calm down, that can often be a trigger for us.
yeah.
Don't tell me to calm down, right? So that's why kind of being a little technical about this, but just saying, can you do half that volume,
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
right? And not expecting it to be perfect, just half would be helpful, right? And that alerts the other person. And I think too, this, as you were saying that, Joe, I think for me personally, my dad would get very high, and his anger would flip really fast. So that one's important for me, because I know that I'm going to get more triggered if my husband keeps his volume up. And we've actually tried that one, and he likes the 50% or half because he's a construction guy, so he's all about percentages and like measurements. So it really works for him for me to not be vague about what I need. Can you do that 50% of the volume? Yeah. Any others for you, Joe?
I think that's the biggest one.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just permission again for you and for everyone here that, this is just a beginning. You're going to actually, if you intend to have these possibilities of a do-over and contain and get in, get out, you're going to come up with ones that I have not thought of. And that's going to be amazing because the more it's tailored to your partner, the better. And so it might occur that, like Michelle did so well, right? Can you say that in a kinder way, or right? So you might just be able to, help your partner. Okay, great. So I'm just going to ask, is there anyone else that would like to join in? You could alert me by doing the reaction. Okay. So yes,
Can I ask a question?
absolutely.
Because I'm processing everything that you're sharing. But what about if the trigger comes from the silence that someone's upset? I know he's upset. I can tell energetically, and I'm sitting there please tell me what is the matter.
Yeah.
What is the issue? That ends up stirring up stirring the pot more. So
Absolutely.
how do you navigate that to diffuse the situation?
Right. I thank you so much for that question, Lauren. Wonderful question. So, something that happens in my relationship, and I agree. I get more stirred up and upset. I'm like, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. You know, my whole alarm bell goes off when silence happens. So, I'll say something like, I'm aware of the silence between us. And that's the beginning. I'm aware of the silence between us. So notice how the languaging is not blaming your partner. That's big. That's going to hopefully, and I want to hear from Joe on this, that hopefully will not send him higher or further away. When silence happens, it's like you don't want to send that person further away. So I'm aware of the silence between us. Is there anything that you can share with me about that? I'm aware of the silence between us. Notice my tone. I'm being very intentional. I'm like speaking to a small child, because when we're upset, I'm aware of I'm aware of the silence between us. How much does Joe want to answer you now? Right? All right, so I'm unmuting you two. All right.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, we would, and then that's where we always get caught, because then I get more upset. He
Yeah.
gets less willing to share because now I'm up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What do you think, Joe, about that flow and the tone and
I like that. I like that approach. Because there's times I think I just need to process some of the feelings I have or emotions I have, and so if I just have 5-10 minutes just to think about what's going on or what the problem may be, then
okay.
I can answer better or whatever,
Yeah.
So
So
I like
Lauren,
I like that.
yeah, so Lauren, if you would just turn to Joe and say the first part, I'm aware of the silence between us. Do you need 10 minutes?
I'm aware of the silence between us. Do you need 10 minutes?
I do.
Yay!
How did that feel, Joe?
No, I like that approach. I do. There's times I just need to like think about it and just and figure out what I want to say. Sometimes I'm not sure what I want to say or how I want to say it the right way. So
Yeah.
that's what I need.
Yeah.
So,
This is such a great field that we're in right here, because I see this a lot working with couples, and I have couples face each other in my office or on the screen, COVID. And I do that because I don't go home with them, and I want them to look at each other and look at the face and look at the body and what's happening. So even from the side of people's faces as I'm looking, I know this to be a thing where someone is processing, and I'm a slower processor. Okay, so I understand this from my personal level too. So when I see that happening, I'll look over to Lauren in this configuration and go, uh-oh, now I'm worried about her. I'm worried about her because I can see sort of what's happening. She's starting to fidget, she's starting to stir, right? Like the fuel is rising within her because she's getting scared, worried. What's he thinking? What's he doing? Right? This is old brain stuff. Like, what's happening here? Am I going to get attacked? Are you going to flee? What is going on? Right? And so I'll often say to someone in Joe's position, I'll say, tell her you're just thinking. Right? He'll go, yeah, I'm just thinking. And she's like, whew, okay. Right. So this is a beautiful moment, you two, because Joe, you now know that this is a thing for Lauren, and you don't want her to go away. You don't want her to get heated, because it won't help you. Right? So you can say, if you can remember when you start thinking, and sometimes, and I looked up because that might be what you see, Joe looking away. Right? Or we tend to do that when we're processing. We look down, we look away. So there's a cue for both of you. Lauren, when you see that, you might say, do you need some time? Are you thinking? And Joe, you have the opportunity to say, I'm thinking, hold on, give me a few minutes, right? Now, it might be a good idea for one of you to reach out. And again, you both know each other best. So it might distract from someone's thinking, but you want to know that. But if it doesn't distract, if it's just sort of like, Joe, you could reach out and touch her knee. Hold on, I'm thinking. So then she goes, oh, like inside of her, oh, he's still connected. He hasn't gone away. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to add something to that, Celeste.
Great.
This, what I see a lot, and actually I think you really referenced this yourself, Joe, is that not only is he thinking, but he doesn't want to say anything to escalate or to make this worse, right? And so to acknowledge the intention, I'm trying to think of something to say, to use my words well, choose my words well.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that's really good, Jim. Thank you. Love that. So that's another thing that you could say. Hold on, Lauren. I'm just trying to choose my words.
What if you don't like what comes? No matter how well he tries to choose his words, it's like then it's the next. That's the next box, isn't it?
Right, right. So that's where the resend can happen. Can you resend without that phrase? Can you resend without that particular word? Right. Words have power for each one of us. They came in way before you guys met each other, right? We learned language. We heard our parents say things. And that's why words are powerful. And that's why you don't want to ask why. Why does that word make you upset? Escalation again, right? Just go, okay. What's another word? What's a synonym for that? Or what's something different, right? And or give him the word, Lauren. That phrase hurts, or that word freaks me out. Can you use this word? Would that be okay? I want to hear you. I mean, it's all so subtle, right? But yet it speaks volumes. And these what we're talking about is like, anyone ever, well, of course, all you have, you've looked through the binoculars, right? And you've like done the adjustment so that you can see whatever you're looking at clearly. And then there's even a micro one where it really gets honed in. So this is a great metaphor for what we're doing here today, right? Is that when we're triggered, it's all fuzzy. And we're using our words and we're using our intention and creativity to hone in so that we can actually see each other, hear each other clearly, right? And you're only going to get better because you're trying, right? And that's the way this works. You're going to get better with each other by the small adjustments make really big, powerful, positive changes. Yeah. Any other questions, you two? That's so good. Thank you so much. I think you've really helped everybody. I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads right here going, yay, and thumbs up. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Wonderful. And Vivi says, thank you for asking that. So I'm just going to look at the chat. Is there anything else? Any other questions? You feel free to unmute yourselves or raise your hand, or I just would love to, in the next minute or two, just take any other question that might be coming up, and then we'll probably end for the evening. So go ahead and write in the chat or unmute yourself if you'd like. And Jim and Ruth, is there anything that comes up that you also want clarification?
No, very, very good. I found what you had to say very earthy, personal. You're very personal and just clear and clear as a bell. It's a thing. So no surprise on any of that, Celeste, no surprise. And so thank you very much. And do us a little favor. Would you tell us something about the course you're going to be offering through our Heartwise Relationship Academy in the fall?
You bet. Thank you for asking. So as Jim mentioned at the beginning, I wrote, thank you so much for inviting me to write a chapter in the book, Heartwise. And I wrote it about the couple bubble. And so the couple bubble, I wore my special ring. So there's the circle. I don't know if anyone remembers the Wonder Twins activate, right? And so the couple bubble is a safety place for two people to live in. And there's an atmosphere in that bubble. There's an atmosphere. And everything you do affects the atmosphere in the couple bubble. And so the upcoming video class for the fall is going to be some of the material that helps preserve the strength and the atmosphere of the couple bubble, right? I'm excited because I have at least one couple that has agreed to let me, demo with them and ask too about what they do to preserve that atmosphere. And so we'll have a little bit of experiential in that video course. Of course, I'm always telling my own stories because I'm a living model of I'm not perfect. I'm a teacher and I'm a learner at the same time. And I just
Aren't we
think,
all?
aren't we all? We're a work in progress. And so that course is going to be about like knowing your partner, like know who you're with. This is one of the primary things. I was just talking with a gentleman today, and he said to me, he's new in a relationship, and he's like, I don't want to be like, I want to be in a relationship where we're not saying change and do this, change and be different, right? And it's more about allowing and accepting and knowing what triggers your partner and know how not to trigger them, right? Like that's a beautiful gift because we are humans in progress and we all have uniqueness about us. And so preserving that atmosphere is really important. So if like for instance, I mentioned earlier, like my dad had volume in his voice. So if my husband does that, he already knows he's going to lose me. I'm going to like run the other direction, right? And that's not what he wants, right? So there's going to be a little bit about agreements, right? Like, what are we intending here? Like we did earlier, why are we in this relationship? Are we here to feel grounded, empowered, authentic? Like, these are things that we often don't do intentionally. So it's really about that intentionality. What are we here for? Are we here to be playful? Are we here to have each other's back, protect each other? Like this is going to be unique to every couple bubble. And furthermore, it's celebrating that your couple bubble is not like your neighbor's and it's not like mine. And it's unique and let's celebrate it. Because I have seen a couple bubble of two homeless people who had very challenging lives and mental illness, and they were amazing with each other. Amazing, beautiful, protected each other. It's not what I want, but it worked, right? And so really, it's really about encouragement. So I want the course to be encouraging. I can say more, but I won't. But there's a lot coming,
That's
and
good.
it's
You
still
gave us a
forming.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Yes.
You're
Well, thank you
welcome.
for tonight. We'll all give you our silent applause.
That's so silent.
And I'm going to do a little share screen to just kind of follow up with, here we go. Whoops, that's not right.
I want to thank everybody for coming. It's really sweet to have this wonderful audience. Thank you so much. Thanks, Michelle, for sharing. Thanks, Lauren and Joe, for offering that really a great teaching moment here.
Yes, thank you so much. So this is the book, Heartwise, Deepening and Evolving Love Relationships, and it's on Amazon. It's an ebook and a paperback book, and it does have the 16 chapters. So there's a treasure trove there. So dig in. And then we have, Jim and I have this business of soulful couples and singles, and we're on Facebook, and we're going to rebrand everything with Heartwise. We hired a marketing consultant, so that's in progress. But if you want to join the soulful couples community, we can have dialogue in there. We send out questions and things to people to respond to, and you can ask questions. And again, it's a wisdom pool. We're all learning from each other. So soulful couples and singles and soulful couples community are on Facebook. So follow and join. And then Jim and I love doing these podcasts.
We really do.
They're so great. Give your love life some love. So some of the times we've interviewed people, and we've interviewed Celeste. Her podcast is wonderful. and other couples that have been on in the book and in our lives. So check out the podcast. It's on soulfulcouples.com.
Yeah, and if you want to reach out to me, meet Celeste@gmail.com. MEETCELESTE at
Very
gmail.
good.
At gmail.com, you said, right?
Yep.
Gmail. And then we're building this whole new portal, heartwise.us. And so you can go on there and sign up to get the updates. So then you'll find out about the things that are coming up, like the Heartwise Relationship Academy. So this is all online learning. And then we'll have some live events also, but the courses will be pre-recorded so you can just watch them at your leisure. And we're creating this whole thing called a love ambassador, where it's like, I want to share the love. I love this whole thing of this is our next stage in development. We're all kind of walking arm in arm on this path and crossing the threshold from the old patterns of, defensiveness and the amygdala hijacks and all that stuff into real mindful, thoughtful, heartful ways of being with each other, where our heart wisdom just expands. And so the love ambassador is like, you're going to share with other people in your life some of the things that are happening. You're kind of an ambassador. And then
Incentive.
And we have incentives, like if you sign 2 people up, you get a course for free, or you get a percentage of the sales that come through your name, your code. So if you are interested in that love ambassador, you can just leave your email in the box and in the chat box, and I'll send you the letter that explains what that all means. And it would be fun to play with you around that.
Mm-hmm.
So we look forward to seeing them next week, right, for our finale.
Yes.
Yeah, what are you
Ruth and I-
two preventing, or what are you presenting?
Vision, what are the possibilities of Heartwise? How can we really expand and evolve the concept and not just make it a concept, make it palpable,
Yeah.
bring it to life?
So we'll be doing some inquiry into our own hearts and our own intentions. It's like having the vision of what it is we're trying to create and how to support ourselves, taking those little tiny steps in the direction of that way of being, like you said, the atmosphere. How do
And
we?
maybe not tiny steps either.
They might be larger steps. Yeah. So anyway, this will complete our series of these 6. And if you want to buy the whole package, you'll get all the recordings. So that's on Heartwise. No, that's on soulfulcouples.com/spring, where you signed up for this. So if you want to, go ahead and purchase the whole package, then you'll have it. And if you've already paid for this course, I'll give you a code to subtract this course off of it if you're going to buy the package. Anyway, we're just trying to spread the word. We've been counseling and coaching for 46 years, and we've worked with thousands and thousands of people, and we can see the patterns. We have the vista of what the old paradigm is, and this is a monumental time in history where there's a balance of power between men and women. There's an equalizing force in relationships that's never been here before. This is brand new.
I think the pandemic is here to bring it to a head.
Yeah, it's bringing to the surface what our patterns are. It's not always pretty, for sure. But anyway, we're all on the learning curve together, and we're all discovering, and, we can just have the masses together to amplify and help us evolve. So that's our purpose in doing all this work.
Thank you for all of that, Jim and Ruth. Thank you so much for
And
your.
it's so wonderful to make your acquaintance and have you be a part of this. I mean that very sincerely.
I'm so pleased to have come into your realm.
Thank you. Yes.
And to all you who showed up tonight and for your contributions.
Yes, thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much for being here, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.
All right.
If you have any other questions, we can jump in. We have 1 minute left. Anybody have a comment or a question?
I just want to say congratulate yourselves for being here. Like, that's huge. Like, celebrate. You did it. You're here, and you're here because you had an intention to try something new and learn and grow. And I really appreciate that from all of you.
Yes.
And the courage to face ourselves, tell the truth about our barriers.
Very much. Very much.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So exhale. And this is our Heartwise little symbol. I don't know if you can see me, but I do this a lot. Like there's little heart
Oh, yeah.
meridian points right here, and I love to just tap on them. It's just very comforting.
Little
and
butterfly
It's
effect.
like a little
Mhm.
butterfly, yeah, heart wise.
Have a good night, Celeste, and everyone else.
Right. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you so much. Good
Mm.
night.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm. Mm.
Celeste, if you want to stay on for a minute. So you did not disappoint.
Well, we have one more person still
Yeah.
here. Hi, Patrick.
So you guys-
Hi,
Thanks for coming, Patrick.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, that was really clear and earthy and personal and just, warm, like I said at the beginning.
Thank you.